Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Bonkekook here, aka the Lonely Achievement God, and I'm coming at you with another 100% achievement walkthrough. Today, we are taking a look at the game Null Drifter for the Xbox family of consoles. It is published by East Asia Soft and developed by Panda Indie Studio in conjunction with East Asia Soft. It was released on the 8th of April of 2020 for $4.99 in US currency. Of course, your currency may vary. It is a interesting little progression-based shoot-'em-up. All of the achievements are fairly straightforward. I will cover everything you're going to need to know. It'll probably take you between 20 or 30 minutes, depending on how well or poorly you do, because there is a little bit of a learning curve. Once again, this is actually part of the Project Starship universe. I've already posted 2 other videos detailing the achievements in those games, Project Starship and Project Starship X. This game does reference the characters from those games, but it is a little bit different. It's more like an asteroids type setting where you're shooting things that are coming in from off of the screen. It's not a very difficult game. Once again, the dash move is very important, and once you learn how to use the dash move, you should have no problems at all getting through the entire game. So we'll go ahead and jump in here quick. I'll show off the achievements. There's one for playing the game 10 times. In all likelihood, this will be the final achievement you get. Every time I've played this, it was, but you know, if you struggle, don't worry about it. It is a progression-based game, so eventually you will get this achievement. There are 3 achievements for killing minions. The final level is for killing 200. There's an achievement for killing 5 bosses. An achievement for reaching level 6. This is probably the other more difficult achievement, just because it does require a little bit of skill, but eventually, as I said, this is progression-based. It's kind of like a roguelike, where you die and you level up and you pop back in and keep going, and you will eventually become powerful enough to reach level 6. So, not a very difficult achievement overall. There's 3 achievements for collecting boosters, the game calls them. They are basically power-ups. Mostly to be more life, more damage, more bullets, etc. And those sometimes can randomly drop from enemies. They always drop from bosses, and there are also various other ones. There's an overload one that pops in and will pop in like 4 or 5 times in succession. So you just got to keep an eye out. Once again, this will probably be one of the last achievements you get, just because they are rarer, or relatively rare drops. So if you don't get further into the game very often, then the power-ups don't drop very often. This is the one that may confuse some people, Color Mania, for unlocking 5 palettes. I've noticed in some of the guides and solutions I've seen, no one has mentioned how you get the palettes. It isn't related to progression, it isn't related to doing certain things as I initially thought. I assumed maybe if you died on level 1 and then made it to level 2 and beat your record, you got palettes, that kind of stuff. No, it's very simple. All you have to do is reach level 3. If you reach level 3 and die, you will unlock a palette, and you can just keep doing that until you get all 5 if you want to. Now, I can't say for certain it works every time. This is directly from the dev's mouth. You reach level 3, you unlock a palette. I think there's like 30-some palettes in total. So all you got to do is play through the game a couple of times. If you do really well, you may not unlock... Excuse me. You may not unlock this. I apologize for that. Wow, I just lost my voice. You may not unlock this if you do really well, because if you aren't dying, it's not a palette for every 3 levels. It's just a palette for reaching level 3. So if you manage to get to level 30, you're still only getting 1 palette. Or if you die on level 2, you're not going to get a palette. So 10 ship upgrades is going to happen very easily. If you do manage to get to the end of the game without getting this, there's one upgrade that you can get 3 levels for like 20 coins, so I tend to save that upgrade for when we're near the end, and then I can quickly pop the achievement if I haven't already. Dashing through an enemy will be one of the first achievements you unlock. You want to get used to using the dash move. Not only is it very useful for avoiding enemy attacks, excuse me, but it also allows you to kill many enemies much faster than firing at them. So it's you really want to get used to using the dash move for just about everything. Early on, there are 3 achievements for collecting money, the total of 600 coins. That will again probably be one of the last achievements you unlock. And there you go. That is the entirety of the achievement list. We are going to pop in. I have once again turned down the volume for sound effects and music very low, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. That's all you do. Press play. And as you can see, we move left and right and up and down along this, and you use the right stick to shoot and the right trigger to dash. And you are going to want to dash through enemies like crazy because it is much faster than shooting, especially early on when you have very weak bullets. You don't want to... Okay, first boss already. Bosses... And that happened so quickly I didn't get to explain anything. Bosses show up at the end of every level. The earlier you face them, so level 1 bosses are a lot easier than the versions you might face on level 5. For example, if we fought that same boss on level 5, there may be more bullets. He may move around. That boss is kind of difficult depending on where he spawns in. If he spawns in the middle, you have less time to get away from his projectiles. So that one can be very troublesome later on if he shows up. There is a lot of randomness to this game. The levels don't repeat, the enemies don't repeat. As far as if you die and restart, you're not going to be playing the same levels as you did initially. Bosses are random. You may maybe there's a boss that causes you trouble, and if you keep playing, you might manage to get to level 6 without having to face that boss. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about each boss. As you can see, we killed him, and there's a power-up, the L there, sitting in the middle of the screen, and that will be our first power-up for life. That'll get us another HP point. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, we will have 2 then. In the upper right-hand corner, we get money. When we die, we can purchase upgrades, and that's how you get the 10 upgrades achievement. So we're moving on to level 2. There are usually a few seconds in between to let you readjust, and you continue on. The game does alert you. As you can see, the warning sign pops in to let you know that an enemy is spawning over there. Not doing very well this round. That sometimes happens. You do really well until you have to talk while you're doing it. So, and here we have another boss. This one isn't overly difficult. He jumps around, and whenever he hits a wall, projectiles pop out. The skulls that have been popping in are one of the enemies I recommend dashing into as soon as you can. We already got the 25 minions achievement. Later on, there are other enemies that spawn in, like this one. This one's a very good one to dash into as well, although I failed to do so there. Got another boss. This one is difficult if you don't get the timing down. You want to let him hit both walls or both corners on the same side, and then you can try to time your dash to get across the walls of the two. I know that's hard to explain in text, but just watch what I'm doing and you'll get the idea. You can fire down and around. I screwed up big time there. When you get to 0 health, everything starts shaking and you fire faster. Which could be the difference between you finishing a boss off and dying. Honestly, the uptick in damage output is very high, actually. This is one of the easier bosses, although since I only have 1 hit point, all you do is do exactly what I'm doing here. Dash across when he comes back towards you. There you go, we've defeated another boss, but we did not get any health, so we are probably going to die on this level. This is one of the tougher ones for me as well, so we might be dying here, but we did get health from something. This one is very difficult to time because of the... So we may not make it. I haven't figured out exactly how to time this enemy's attacks, and we made it. We got to level 6. That's the progression achievement done. We killed 5 bosses, so we got that achievement, and now we can die as much as we want. There is nothing needed to go any further than what we've just done. And we're probably going to die relatively quickly here anyways. The game starts to get much more chaotic the further you get in. That dash move is very important to learn how to time. Once you can time the dash move, this game becomes a piece of cake, honestly, for the achievements. If you try... Oh, and there we died. We will unlock a palette for having made it through the first 3 levels. Nothing else really matters. As you can see, we unlocked a new power-up, the shotgun. So here's what I recommend doing. It would be more interesting if I hadn't got the level 6 achievement already, but I do recommend for going through the regular game, if you are having trouble, to start by purchasing the first level of the HP. I recommend focusing on fire rate and starting damage as well. Those are the ones I tend to put my money into. So the movement speed is the one that's very quick and easy. It's $5, $10, and $20 for all 3 levels. So if you get through the game and don't have the 10 upgrades achievement, then it only costs 35 dollars in order to get 3 more levels, and that can very quickly finish off your upgrade achievement. As you can see, we already got half of the achievements. We just need to kill people, get more power-ups, more pallets, the upgrade achievement, and some more coins. So once you have figured out what upgrades you want to do, press the menu button to continue on, and you will restart from level 1 again. And again, if you've gotten to level 6, you actually have nothing else to really focus on. Just kill things until you get the achievements. These enemies... well, let's see if another one shows up. Nope, we're getting a boss right off the bat. And that's the boss I told you about last time. And this time he spawned way on the other side of the map. And he's a piece of cake when that happens. If he spawns in the middle, that one can be trouble. But we got lucky. And some of the bosses are like that. Those enemies can be difficult because of the way that they fire at you. Just ram into them instead of shooting at them, because they have quite a bit of defense to survive. This boss can be troublesome later on, but on the first couple of levels, this boss should be fairly easy for you. There we go. Got some more money and power-ups. Those enemies are also the ones you want to use the dash for. You can use the dash for anything if you want, but... Another boss. Again, this one, on all levels, this one is relatively easy. I think this would be the easiest boss in the game if I made a list. Now, occasionally you get store credits, and you'll occasionally purchase like or get like a half-off store sale. And if that ever happens, focus on your more expensive ones. So the HP is the primary expensive upgrade that you'll be purchasing, and getting a half off is super nice. You want to, if you get the half off, make sure you are using it for the more expensive ones, because you could purchase the movement speed upgrades with the half off and you would get the first level for $3 instead of $5, or you can get the HP ones, which could drop it from 150 down to 75. So much better to spend the money on those more expensive ones. And we might die. Nope, we made it. Okay, we got the shotgun upgrade. That makes your bullet spread like this. And since we're about to die, our bullets are going all over the place. As I said, when you're about to die, you fire significantly faster. Made it to another boss. This is one of the ones, once I figured out the pattern for this one, I consider this one of the easier ones as well. Go. But as you can see, we've done fairly well on our runs. So if this happens to you and you're reaching level 6 consistently, you may unlock all of the rest of the achievements before you get to the 5 pallets, because for the 5 pallets you at least need to make 5 playthroughs of the game past level 3. So if you die on level 1 and level 2 and then it clicks for you and you manage to get through the rest of the game relatively easy, you may get to the end of the game and still need a couple more pallets, and so you'll have to play. You do have to play 10 times overall anyways for the one achievement. So just keep that in mind. You may just, your last couple of playthroughs may just be getting to level 3 to get your pallets and then dying. We're gonna purchase the starting damage, and I'm not entirely sure what these do. Well, obviously the coins one gives you × 2 coins. The level 10, I think, spawns you in at level 10 if you purchase that. But we never get enough coins to even consider that. I'm going to purchase the next game more bonus, because I think that gives you more power-ups. And we'll spawn back in on our 3rd playthrough here. Boy, I'm not doing all that great. We got to our first boss here. This one has always been a pain for me. That's probably the toughest boss for me personally, but I just haven't found a good pattern that seems to work for me. So if you do, more power to you. Okay, we got half of our power-ups that we need. Can't say I've noticed any more power-ups, but you know what that bonus could also be is that shop sales, we just got a potentially a discount in the store. So and there's the overload ones. Now, these tend to come, although we got a boss here, so I don't know if they still will. I honestly don't really know how they work, just most of the time I've gotten the overloads to pop up. They've popped up 3 or 4 times in a row, so doesn't look like that happens at bosses though, but that boss is once again one of my easier ones, so that wasn't too difficult. And we just once again continue on. I think we are getting more power-ups. Another boss here. This one is probably middle of the pack for me. Although it kind of depends on when you catch this one, as I've said. And if you get lucky with life power-ups, you don't need to really worry about buying life power-ups. As you can see, we have 5 hit points right now, and since we're on level 5, all we would need to do to get that achievement, we got our overload power-up there, is to get to level 6, so with 4 hit points left, there's another overload and I missed it. Darn it. I was too busy chatting. But, and again, this boss, if they pop in on one side or the other, they are significantly easier than if they pop in on the middle. I believe there's 2 different versions that are similar to this. One of them has, you know, the circles that come out from them, and another one just fires a ton of projectiles. So the difficulty for those really depends on where they spawn in. If they spawn in the middle, they can be relatively tough, especially later in the game, but if they spawn in on the sides, they're very easy. I'm also not particularly good at shmups, so take that with a grain of salt. If you might be significantly better than these at me. There we go, I died. So, but again, we need to die anyways for the achievements, so not such a bad thing. Unlocked another pallet. I'm not going to be changing the pallets. I am going to be purchasing these 3 movement speed upgrades, and there we go, we got our achievement for unlocking 10 upgrades. And now I'm just going to spend on whatever I want. All of these are relatively useful, but I think the game also does kind of counter them when you purchase them. As far as damage and fire rate, I think the first level is always relatively easy, but I think the further you go, the game gives you, you know, different enemies or it does its best to counter your upgrades, which I don't have a real problem with that. But there's level 1 boss. He was in the middle, but since he was level 1, it was very easy. I'm gonna pause real quick, ladies and gents. We got 3 more achievements we need. Power-ups, pallets, and playing the game 10 times. So I think what I'm going to do is just try to get to level 3. and then we'll die. And we'll repeat that process over and over. Got an upgrade. Because I don't entirely know how many more upgrades we need. And we died. And we will get another pallet here. I think we need one more before we unlock that achievement. You do unlock bosses as you go through as well, so keep that in mind. I believe we got a half off. I'm going to purchase the bonus again. And then I'm going to purchase another starting fire rate, but again, it doesn't matter unless you haven't reached level 6. That's kind of the way I would recommend going through, is fire rate and damage and getting the first level of bullets and HP if you need it. But again, all of these can kind of be improved on their own throughout the game, so increasing the base level for each one in order is probably the best way to go. But ultimately, I mean, you could get to level 6 on your first playthrough if you had a good drop with power-ups and stuff like that. And if you're better at shmups than I am. Which isn't very hard, I don't think, but... Because if you get a couple of those life-up power-ups, then you can breeze through some of these levels. As you see, we already got 2 and we're not even past level 2, so another relatively easy boss here. Already got 3 life power-ups, so we're sitting pretty good here. There is our power-up achievement, so we are going to let ourselves die now. There is no reason for us to continue going any further than level 3, because we need to get the pallet achievement. And we got so many life upgrades that this is going to take forever for us to die. There we are, another death. And that should get us up the pallet achievement. Or maybe not. Try this again. Unless we already got it and I missed it. I don't think so, though. Nope. So. Oops. One boss down. But once you get relatively good at this, there's nothing in this game that will cause you any trouble for the achievements. Made it to level 3. Okay, this is one of the other bosses that can be a pain. If it spawns in the middle of the map, you don't have a lot of time to react to the bullets, but since they have spawned on the left side, we're going to move to the right and take them out, and we will just now let ourselves die. And there's the palette achievement for getting our palette. I'm not sure why it didn't go off last try. Maybe because we unlocked songs, we didn't get a palette that time. But again, the dev says every 3 levels a palette should unlock if you make it past or through level 3 to level 3, excuse me. So all we have left is to just die and play the game 10 times. So all we're going to do is pop in here and run into enemies as they come in. You do have quite a long recovery time where you can't be hit. So, get another death. And bosses will... I think that boss unlocks at like 8 playthroughs, so you have 1 or 2 more after that mad coughing boss unlocks. So that's a good way to recognize when you're getting close to that achievement. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. There is our last achievement. We now have 17 out of 17 achievements for 1,000 gamer score. I hope you enjoyed this achievement walkthrough. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. If you don't have any questions or comments, I would appreciate if you check out the other content on the website, lagwalkthroughs.com, and on my YouTube channel here. Like, subscribe, all those fun things that the content creators appreciate. But if you don't have any questions or comments, and you've already seen the website, then I'm going to see you guys in the next video.